know that Sigmund Freud coined the term penis envy? Very interesting. As today, we're going to dive into some of his theories and how they can actually help you to quit masturbation and quit watching porn. What's up, man? Welcome back to Morningwood Academy, where we dive deep into men's health and personal transformation. You know, when I was first starting out researching this, I thought Sigmund Freud was just this weird guy who was always talking about how we're secretly in love with our moms. But as it turns out, Freud actually had some pretty useful things to say about habits, addiction, and brace yourself, PIED. That's porn-induced erectile dysfunction, in case you haven't heard of it yet. So today, we're going to dive deep into Freud's theories, especially focusing on the subconscious or the unconscious mind and defense mechanisms, and how those can directly apply to masturbation and porn addiction, and how you can overcome them once and for all. So buckle up, because I'm about to get all psychoanalytical on your, you know what I mean. And make sure that you stick around to the end of this, because I'm gonna actually tell you how you can break free, but it's only gonna make sense after you watch the full video, okay? So let's get started. So let's start with Freud's big idea, the subconscious mind, or the unconscious mind. All right, now if you're sitting here thinking, but wait, I'm totally in control of my life. Oh yeah? Well, how come you have an odd number of socks in your dirty laundry, huh? Now, don't shoot the messenger, okay? I hate to break it to you, but you actually thinking that you're in control, that's actually just the tip of the iceberg, my friend. Now, according to Freud, our conscious mind, the part that you're aware of, all right, that's only a small fraction of what's really going on. All right, now think about this metaphor. It's like the captain of a ship who thinks that because he's steering, that he's the one in control. Whereas the subconscious is actually the thing controlling the ocean currents and the weather patterns, which actually dictate where the captain steers. The subconscious holds all of your deepest fears, desires, and unresolved childhood traumas. So essentially, it's the messy basement of your brain. And obviously it's uncomfortable to deal with. So a lot of guys, they just shut the door and then let it quietly call the shots from the inside. Now, let me ask you a serious question. Have you ever been right in the middle of a FAP session, just having a way with yourself, and then suddenly think, what the hell am I doing? I don't even want to do this. Well, that act of recognition, that's your conscious mind realizing that it was being overridden by your subconscious desires. Freud would say that your mind is seeking to fulfill some hidden needs. Things like comfort, maybe you're bored or you're lonely, or maybe you're looking to escape from some situation. Perhaps you had a stressful day and you just need to release, or validation. Sometimes the guys want to prove to themselves that they do indeed have some form of control over their lives. And they do this through unhealthy behaviors like watching porn and other forms of fantasy. And even though they feel worse after the deed is done, they feel validated because they aren't validated by any other means in their lives. Freud divided the mind into three parts: the id, the ego, and the superego. Now, I'm gonna explain each of these in very simple terms because, let's be honest, Freud didn't have to write YouTube scripts. The id is the primal, caveman part of your brain. It's all about pleasure, instant gratification, and of course, not giving a damn about the consequences. In other words, the id is the guy who says, hey, Eric, it's 2 a.m., but you're bored. It might be a good idea to set up your computer and watch a couple of your favorite scenes. And even though you know that you're gonna regret it immediately afterwards, the id is the voice telling you that it's probably the best thing to do. The ego isn't the ego in the sense of what you're thinking of. This was just a term that Freud used as like the responsible adult within you. It's trying to balance the needs of the id and the demands of reality. So when the id is yelling, give me dopamine now.
Hey, Mom! The meatloaf! We want it now! The meatloaf!
The ego is like, bro, we need to sleep. We've got work in the morning. And you know the last time that we tried to have sex and we couldn't get hard? Do you remember that? The superego is basically your moral compass, right? Your higher self. This is the part of your brain that kicks in and says, what would your grandma think if she saw your browser history? Especially from incognito mode. You need to straighten up, young man. So yeah, there's a constant battle going on between your brain, where your id wants pleasure, and your superego just wants to be a good person, and your poor ego is stuck in the middle, just trying to keep the peace. All right, now let's talk about one of Freud's most fascinating ideas, defense mechanisms. These are the mental gymnastics we do to avoid dealing with uncomfortable situations and emotions. It's like when you tell yourself, oh, I'm just watching porn because I'm bored. No, dude. You're watching it because you're avoiding something. Here's a few other of Freud's greatest hits when it comes to defense mechanisms. Denial. I don't have a porn problem. I could stop anytime I want. I just don't want to. Yeah, sure, buddy. Rationalization. Hey, it's not real cheating if it's just porn, right? You're rationalizing your behavior to make yourself feel better. But the truth is, you're sabotaging your relationships.
It's not cheating if you spread peanut butter all over your testicles and let your dog lick it off. Because it's your dog.
Jesus Christ.
You know, because it's your dog.
No, yeah, we got it.
Regression. This is where you shove down your real emotions so deep that you forget they even exist. You don't feel like you're good enough in real life, so you turn to fantasy instead. The problem is these defense mechanisms keep you stuck in a cycle of denial and avoidance. Freud would say that the only way to break free is to bring those hidden fears and desires into the light. And in other words, it's time to be real with yourself and start taking accountability for yourself. Now, let's back this up with some science, because we're not just talking about Freud here. There's real data that supports how porn addiction messes with your subconscious mind. Studies have shown that porn rewires your brain in a way that's very similar to how drugs like cocaine do. A study published in the journal JAMA Psychiatry found that frequent porn consumption literally reduces the volume of the brain's striatum, right? That's a region tied to rewarded motivation. This means that your brain is constantly chasing that next hit of dopamine, and you're less motivated to pursue your real life goals. And that's why your id loves porn, right? It's a quick hit of dopamine and your brain just gets hooked on it. The more you feed it, the more it becomes ingrained into your subconscious behavior. So, how do we break free from this? I told you in the beginning that you should stick around just for this part, all right? Freud's theory suggests that awareness is the key. You can't change what you don't acknowledge, right? So start by recognizing your patterns and your defense mechanisms. Every time you feel the urge to go out and play with your trouser trout, ask yourself, what am I avoiding? Is it loneliness? Is it stress? Is it something deeper? Once you can identify the root cause, you can start figuring out which replacement behaviors and which pattern interrupts will serve you the best. Remember, your subconscious is running the show until you actively decide to change the script. So every time that you feel triggered, do something else. Don't follow through with it. Go for a walk, call a friend, be around people, or as I mentioned before, literally pound your chest like a gorilla, whatever gets you out of that state. You have to bring the awareness to the situation before you can truly change it. And with repetition, you can begin to rewire back to what is healthy and normal. All right, and for the guys who enter into my academy, they go far beyond healthy and normal, and they understand exactly what peak performance in the bedroom feels like. If that's something that sounds interesting to you, then perhaps it's time we speak and I can show you the real framework. But in the end, Freud believed that the unconscious mind is powerful, but it's not unchangeable. You can retrain your brain, all right? It's not gonna happen overnight, but with consistent effort, you'll start to see real changes, as long as you know what steps to take and in what order. And this is where Morningwood Academy also already has the foundation laid for men to consistently break free from porn and reverse their PIED in the shortest amount of time possible. If you're ready for a guided hand-holding experience to get you performing back at your peak, then book your Better Than Free coaching session below, and I'll explain the entire process to you. So here's your homework. The next time that you feel that urge, after you get out of the environment, remember that's always step one. I want you to ask yourself, what's my subconscious really trying to tell me? Then, do something that aligns with the life that you want to build, not the life that you're trying to escape from. Okay? You have the power within you. You just have to understand that you're fighting against your deep-rooted programs that have, at some point, in some way, served you in the past. The problem is, now that you can see they're not serving you, in fact, if you're anything like me, those actions that you take all alone in your room when it's dark are completely destroying your potential and your future. You need to take back control of your life if you're ever going to break free from this poor programming that you call a normal life. If you found this interesting, make sure that you erect that thumbs up button. And if you're serious about taking control of your life, stimulate the subscribe button right here and hit the bell so that way you don't miss out on any future videos on how to crush your PIED and remove porn and masturbation and level up in all areas of your life. And if you missed what Tony and Brendan had to say, make sure you check out these videos here on your journey back to peak performance in the bedroom. Until next time, brother, stay strong, stay conscious, and remember that you're in control. I'll see you in the next video. Much love.